Alright, YouTube. I'm Black at you with another video. You already know who it is, but just in case you don't, it's none other than Lee Borlstein. Okay, today we're reacting to The Boys Season 2. Let's hit it. Why is Starlight in her slut costume at a funeral? What the fuck? Didn't she have an argument with the CEO last season and said I'm not gonna dress up like a whore, but now she's wouldn't this be a good opportunity to not dress like a whore at a funeral? I don't know. I'm really glad they included this cuck subplot, and also I'm glad they got the quote wrong and saying Starlight says we're a family, when if you listen to the dialogue, Starlight's reciting a story where Homelander says that we're a family. How did they fuck that up? This is pretty cool. You know, Huey, he's living in a dumpster under the ground, and he has to dress up to go out to meet with Starlight. And Starlight, you know, she's like a glamour model. She's got to dress down to meet up with Huey. I like that. That's pretty cool. Good job. Good job. Can someone explain to me why Starlight is going on a rant about how God doesn't exist to a person that she's going to ask a favor from? That their one mutual connection is that they both went to Capes for Christ and have a religious background? Can someone explain that to me? I'm lost. My Marvel brain can't handle it. I don't understand what's going on. Oh, look, now he's referencing the fact that they have a shared connection due to their religious upbringing. And she just went on an atheistic rant. So this would indicate to me that the character still believes in God, and maybe she shouldn't have gone on to that atheistic rant. Can someone explain it to me? I'm confused. Starlight's trying to blackmail Gecko with his side gig of having people chop his arms off because he can just regrow his arms. And somehow this works. How does this work? How is he can regrow his arms? What is the moral pain? And he gets his dick cut off, but genuinely, who cares? He can regrow those body parts. Like, why does it matter? Like, how does this blackmail even function or work? Like, anytime this show has a problem, just send in the blackmail. That's it. Okay, this scene, this is like the best fucking sequence in all of season 2, so I'm gonna go slow with it. Just wait. Okay, this is the first shot in the reverse shot, and we're seeing Susan Raynor. Notice how close the camera is to the 180 line. When you're shooting a reverse shot, here's the 180 line. You have your characters here and here. You shoot the camera like this, and you shoot the camera like this, so you can see both of the actors. Sometimes you include the shoulder or other parts of the back of the head of the other characters. The camera right here is getting dangerously close to the 180 line. The reason that's important is because it triggers something in the viewer's brain as seeming that's wrong. And let's see how that's played to effect in the scene. Notice how when we cut to showing MM and Huey, the camera is very far from the 180 line. Everything in the screen is occupied. The car is there, Stillwell is there, the other characters are there. There is no empty space that needs to be filled. This is the first confounding shot. Susan is lit a little bit differently here, and there's a lot of headspace around her character that can be filled in. Well, here we are. We cut back to MM and Huey, and they're taking up the whole screen. Now, you might think, oh, there's some dead space around Huey, but in this shot, Huey's going to walk into the foreground, still behind MM, and he's going to take up the rest of that space, meaning there's no extra room to really kind of threaten the characters. There's no dead space. Here, exactly just like I said, both of the characters fully in frame, taking up the entire thing. There's no extra headspace at all. This is the shot that should alarm you. Alarm bells go off in your head when you see this for two reasons. One, we're on the 180 line right now, as I mentioned earlier. And two, there is so much blank space around Susan's character that it just screams something bad's gonna happen. Let's watch and find out. Oh, we cut back to MM and Huey. They're still in frame well. Nothing gonna harm them. Oh, we cut back to Susan, and they're trying to diffuse the tension. You know, she's in frame too, just like them. No issues here. Nothing to scare us. Oh, and here we are. Something's wrong with Susan's nose. We're back on the 180 line. Oh no, I've been set up for this. The filmmakers have set me up to feel tense through the language and editing of the film. What's gonna happen? Oh no, Susan Rayner's head doggone exploded. Good job, filmmakers. Good job. Edgar here's asking Homelander what Homelander knows about Frederick Vought. This is a spoiler for later in the season when it's revealed that Edgar clearly doesn't know anything about Frederick Vought. Because if he did, why would he bring Stormfront around? It's doesn't he know Stormfront is like the first person given Compound V? Like she was there in like Nazi land. She's a Nazi. Like I like Stormfront's inclusion in the show, but this is a contradiction or a problem in the plot that's never addressed or explained at all. Okay, well, on to episode 2. In this scene, Becca tries to explain to Homelander why Ryan's upbringing is the way it is and why they're living in a walled-off compound. The problem is that the writers forgot to tell Homelander this, even though he, like, flies over the wall to go visit Ryan, and he already knows they're in a compound controlled and run by Vought. He still asks the question, who is the we that is making the decisions for raising Ryan? I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid in this scene. I mean, whoa! Stormfront's fucking giving it to the libcuck fucking interviewers. That's fucking epic. Except these aren't live interviews. These are scripted interviews that are being shot back to back to back in the Vought studio, in the Vought tower. So the fact that she tries to do this, like, I know you guys got your talking points kind of bit doesn't make any sense because they're just going to leave this on the cutting room floor. Like, her freak out here is just going to fall on deaf to nobody's ears because why would they keep this in other than maybe marketing purposes to show how fucking unhinged Stormfront is. But, like, her response doesn't make sense given the context that she's in. Why would she say this? They're in a back-to-back shooting spree doing promotional material. Why does she act like she's going to talk shit to the person interviewing her when the reality is the person who wrote this is behind the camera? She should be aiming her head and talking to the person behind the camera who wrote the scripts that the interview is supposed to be based on, not talking to the interviewer. The interviewer didn't plan any of this shit. This scene is so fucking stupid. This is the moment the writers just gave up thinking. Here's my reaction to A-Train's entire plot the whole season. Racism. The characters are fucking dog shit. The writers could not give less of a shit about A-Train. His character is so shallow and stupid, and he gets so little development. He gets so little meaningful interaction. And that they try to retool this in season 3 only to write a character that is literally, and I shit you not, a conservative stereotype of what black men are. It's fucking laughable. Apparently the writers for this show are supposedly woke, from what I've heard, but they sure do write a lot of conservative stereotypes. Conservative stereotypes. Okay. Bonus react, but this season has so much blackmail in it, you'd think you're watching fucking Black.com. This is the part of the episode where Homelander tries to connect with Ryan, and he tries to tell Ryan the truth, that his upbringing wasn't good, and that he wants the love of Ryan, and he wants to give love to Ryan, because he wants to offset the damages that were done to him, and he wants someone who would love him, theoretically, unconditionally, by having, a familial connection, because Homelander really doesn't have any. This will be important later. Uh-oh, the scene got stupid. This is the part where Homelander asks Becca, what is she going to tell Ryan when he wants to go and do things in the real world and he's trapped inside a walled off fucking enclosure and he can't go anywhere or he can't experience the real world? The problem with this scene is, and as the scene later establishes, Homelander 1 knows they're in a compound, 2 knows the director of the compound, so that leads to a problem. Why does Homelander imply that Becca has all the power in this scenario when Becca's the one who supposedly, according to the story, asked for Vought's protection when she became pregnant or something to the matter. Becca is the person who has the least agency in this scenario, but Homelander and the show writes it as if she's done this terrible wrong and that she has the choices to be made regarding Ryan's upbringing. And it just fundamentally is not fucking true. So much so that I don't think that they're writing Homelander as victim blaming, as the writers of the show just fucking forgot the scenario that they set up and are just writing the characters to be stupid to justify something later, which will undoubtedly be very disappointed by. In this scene, the boys are trying to capture Kimiko's brother. Who are the people in the scene who know it's Kimiko's brother? Kimiko and nobody else. Huey's gonna find that out and he's gonna try to stop Butcher, implying that maybe they could, talk to him and then just get him to join their side. Because later in the episode, we'll find out that Kimiko's brother actually has the same goal as them, as that Kimiko's brother wants to also take down Homelander because Homelander destroyed Kimiko and Kimiko's brother's village when they were children. Sounds easy, right? Let's see what happens. Oh, Kimiko and her brother are hugging. Oh, looking good, looking good. And Huey sees this. We're going to dissolve this issue with our words. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, here we have Huey trying to use his words. It's her brother, so you could think in your brain skull like, oh, oi, mate, it's your brother. Good job. I'd love to have you on the team. Let's go kill those cunts in the tower. Oi. It writes itself. That's how Butcher should respond, right? That's what I would think would happen. Oh no, why is he pulling up his gun? Oh, I get it. They wanted to shoot a cool action scene, so they had to have some reason to incite violence from Kimiko's brother, and what better way to do that than have Butcher try to shoot him with a gun? Okay, I guess I should be a little bit more honest. We do get a justification later in the episode of why Butcher engages in this mind-numbingly stupid behavior, and he says, and I quote, if you get between me and my missus again, I'll kill you or something. So our understanding is that the reason he was motivated by not using his brain is because he saw this as his chance to get back with his missus, and he was going to take it, regardless of being able to solve the problem in an easier means that presumably could be more effective. Because as we come to find out later in the seasons, the Halothang bullets that Butcher was trying to use to incapacitate Kimiko's brother don't work on some superheroes. So maybe Butcher's idea was wrong and dumb, but the show doesn't ever ponder that, unfortunately. Fucking epic shit flying around in the store, oh my god, boggers! In this scene, Stormfront is telling Starlight about a time where she dresses like Pippi Longstocking and Disney slut girls make fun of her. I'm curious, when did Stormfront create this canon? Because, spoilers, Stormfront is like almost like 100 years old or something. She was like a teenager back during World War II, and I don't know about you, but I don't think Disney even had Disney princesses back in World War II, much less Disney sluts. And by the time Disney princesses even came around and the slut version even came around would be, I don't know, as early as the 90s, I imagine. So you're telling me that Stormfront was hanging out with bitchy teenage Disney sluts or college parties in the 90s when she looks like she's, I don't know, 25 to 30. So I guess she could go to college. But why is she there? The background work that needs to go on to make this interaction make any sense in the canon and lore of the show is so fucking befuddling that I don't think the writers even thought 1 second about the fact that Stormfront would have never been able to actually have this interaction happen to her. So she's either lying or the writers just forgot. Oh, here's the epic zinger. Stormfront's given Starlight, advice on how to deal with sexual harassment in the workplace. And she says Pippi Longstocking would bite a dick. Oh, fucking amazing. That's such good advice. Because one, that totally wouldn't land you in any legal trouble. Two, you don't even know if you can actually bite the person's dick off because they're a superhero. Three, you don't know the ramifications for your position at the company anymore. Four, you're scared, insecure of your job, you're the new girl, and this other person's saying that this is part of the initiation process? Wow, it's almost like Stormfront's character is written to be so fucking stupid while trying to be so smug and smart. It's phenomenal. I truly love it. Good job, writers. Kimiko knows sign language. Earlier in the episode, and in season 1, the show implied that Kimiko didn't know any language, because if she did, why wouldn't she use any of her language knowledge to communicate? Why wouldn't they just pull up Google Translate and write to each other? Because as we see in the show, Butcher will go on Amazon.com and buy a gift for Ryan. So clearly in universe, they know what the internet is and they can use it. So why didn't they use that to solve their communication problems? Well, that's the one flaw of the show, is the show uses communication as a cause for conflict. And what I mean by that is that the characters can solve their problems with words, but instead they will either say wrong words or nothing at all, leading to violence. And violence because of wrong or dumb words being said or no words, to me, at least in a show, needs to really be a measured effect. You can't overly rely on communication errors or just not saying words to be the impetus for violence, because that gets exhaustively boring and causes us to wonder, why don't the characters just say the obvious? It kind of sticks out like a sore thumb after a while. Oh my god, A-Train just broke into Starlight's home, in her apartment. She tries to ask how he got in, but the writers just left the line blank, so the actor doesn't really respond at all, or it doesn't make any sense, and I guess nobody cares because the plot just kind of moves past that. This is something that's going to happen constantly in the show, characters just showing up in other people's apartments, and frankly, I fucking hate it. I think it's fucking stupid. Oh yeah, in this scene, it's a blackmail game of chicken. A-Train's gonna blackmail Starlight over the fact that she has a connection with Huey, and Huey killed Translucent, and Huey and the boys are coming after the Seven. Starlight tries to blackmail A-Train over the fact that he killed his girlfriend, Popclaw, and orchestrated an horrible scheme to give people around the world Compound V to create supervillains for the superheroes to fight, leading to the deaths of a lot of fucking people. So as you can imagine, we got a lot of blackmails in the scene. Oh, by the way, this is the part where Kimiko's brother talks about Homelander, or well, it alludes to Homelander showing up and destroying their camp and everything. So at this point you would imagine like, oh, the people I'm with, they want to kill Homelander too. We could work together. But what she actually does is she's like, oh, I want to run away. And then he's like, if you won't fight and kill them, then time to die. And then the show just goes stupid town. Okay, what Kimiko's brother's saying makes sense. That he wants to fight back. He wants to fight back against this country. And more specifically, if Kimiko's brother was given more information or communicated with in a more effective or smarter way, then he would come to realize that Vought and Homelander are his enemies. Wow, how's Kimiko going to respond to this? Kimiko spends pretty much the entire scene reminiscing over the fact that her brother used to be, I guess, kind of a softie, and she really struggles to wrestle with the change in her brother, which doesn't make any sense because she's already gone through this exact same arc. She, who was a person, presumably was a softer individual before she was human trafficked and put to God knows what kind of abuses and given these horrible powers that she refers to as making her a monster. So she should sympathize with her brother, but instead she just tries to reminisce about a nostalgic time that cannot be. And that could be really fucking effective or interesting if it didn't lead to the most ball-numbing, fucking stupid, violent conflict the show will ever see. So for reasons, Kimiko just really grabs his arm and then he like pushes her away because I guess right now in this exact moment they either need to seek out immediate vengeance or total passivity, and it can be not either or. The cause of the conflict in here is so stupid, is so dumb. This is not how this would go down. He should have joined the boys. Fuck this whole plot. And it's only going to get worse. Maybe, I don't know. This is a react, by the way. Whoa, Kimiko's brother is throwing Kimiko into a building while he doesn't actually understand what her powers are, which might fatally injure her. Fucking epic. Good job, show creators. You did a good one. Oh, fucking awesome. Butcher just punched the cuck character Huey in the face for getting between him and his missus. Fucking awesome. Huey totally isn't 100% in the right 99% of the time in the show, except for in season 3 when they decide to give his character a fucking character arc from season 1 that they forgot to write in. So fucking good. I love this stupid shit. Awesome. So awesome. We get to watch the cuck character pathetically walk back into the van of the guy who just punched his face. I love cuck plots. This is so cool. I love that the character who is right and tries to do everything correct while putting people in the least amount of danger possible gets shit on the most. Good job, show creators. You're not contributing to toxic masculinity at all whatsoever, as we won't come to find out later in the show. Amazing job. I love it. Well, episode 3 starts and we're on a yacht hanging out in the fucking Atlantic Ocean. What's gonna happen? Kimiko still wants to try the same argument about how she views her brother as a small child still. Maybe she's into that kind of thing. I don't know. Remember when I said A-Train is written like a character who was devised in the mind of a conservative stereotype of how they view successful black men? Yeah. I don't know. In this scene, Homelander tries to teach Ryan how to fly. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, how sad. Even after pleading and begging and how Ryan said he's not like Homelander and that he doesn't have powers to fly, Homelander still chucked him down onto the lawn. Huh. I don't know about you, but personally, I was hit as a child, and you know what that caused in me? That caused in me to never respect my parents ever again. You know what's gonna cause for Ryan to happen? Just wait till you see the end of season 3. The writers really understand childhood trauma and abuse more than anyone's lived experience. Just you wait. Okay, this scene is just hilarious. Before this, we got to see Grumpy McGrumperson go to the police chief and be like, God damn it, my yacht's not in where it's supposed to be. Somebody must have ran off with it. And he's like, oh, we don't have time for that. All of our fucking deputies are out fucking on vacation jacking off or fucking going on Epstein Islands or whatever. And he's like, God damn it, police chief. I'm not going to donate $1 billion to the police union this year unless you find my yacht. I need to take my daughter's boyfriend out on a fucking trip and suck his cock right now. And that's how we got to this scene. That's why the cops are fucking out in the ocean hunting for this yacht, even though they probably don't have jurisdiction out in the fucking ocean. And why are they looking for a yacht? Oh, wait, none of that shit that I just said before actually happened. The police are just randomly out looking for one random yacht in the ocean as if it's a danger to anyone. Oh, maybe it's all just a contrived setup for an action scene? Oh, the action scene where Kimiko's brother hits the helicopter into the water. Awesome. I don't care about any of the explanation of why any of this shit makes sense at all. I'm just happy to see action. Reminder, the Deep is in Sandusky, Ohio, and he just got personal information about a conflict going on that he can helpfully resolve to get himself back into the 7. I looked it up on Google Maps, and Sandusky, Ohio to New York City is an 8-hour drive. Maybe the Deep just swam through a bunch of sewer pipes to get there faster? Holy shit, in a matter of fucking 3 minutes of runtime in the show, the Deep was able to go 8 hours across the United States to meet up and try to capture the boys. Okay, why is this fucking stupid? This is fucking stupid because the pacing of the show doesn't match the pacing of the characters moving on the earth as we know it, which causes us in our monkey skulls to go, how did he go so far, so fast? I thought he only does swim stuff in water. Can he surfboard on the land and go super fast on surfboard water? I don't know. Maybe he took a jet? I don't know. If this was the scene that you wanted to shoot, the first scene of the episode should have been the Deep getting the call to action, and then he mysteriously shows up later, not right before the action scene. We're gonna try to desperately set it up because the pacing makes it seem impossible to actually execute. I really, really, really like this scene. Huey has obvious signs of a concussion, and Butcher wants to leave him inside the fucking intestines of a whale, presumably to die. MM tries to talk him out of it, but no luck. Butcher's a bit of a cunt. Oh, MM being a good guy, tries to explain to Butcher that Huey's not having a good time, and probably suffered some concussion or something. Oh, Butcher doesn't really care, he just wants to fuck his wife. I understand. So, this sequence has something I like and something I don't like. The thing that I like in this scene is that Mommy Dommy Stormfront is going through a building that is predominantly occupied by black people, and she kills the black people indiscriminately. I like this, not because I like killing black people, but it alludes to the fact that Stormfront is racist. The thing that I don't like is the setup with Kimiko's brother and Kimiko as well. It doesn't make any sense at all. Stormfront's just blowing up the building, you know? The show shows you she's racist. It doesn't tell you she's racist. Oh, spoke too soon. She's doing her racism. Yikes. Holy shit. Kimiko just saw her brother get killed by Stormfront after her brother was hogtied and held captive by the boys. Wow, I wonder how she's feeling in this scene. I wonder who she's going to go and rely on after being seemingly betrayed and had the only person that she really cared about killed in front of her due to the actions of the people that she kind of was cohabitating with and living with. Boy, I wonder where she's going to live now. Oh, she's just back with the boys again. She seemingly doesn't have any negative feelings towards the boys. She seemingly doesn't have any animosity towards their involvement in getting her brother killed. She doesn't harbor any ill will against them at all. And in fact, she spends the rest of the episode staring aggressively at a picture of Stormfront on the television. I'm beginning to feel like this show writes its non-white male characters incredibly poorly. Sure, she's Asian. Sure, she has selective mutism or some form of it. But why does she need to be written with no intelligence? Why does she need to be written so stupidly? Why? Holy shit, Madeline Stillwell's alive and living in a cabin in the woods, and Homelander's gonna go there and drink her titty milk again? Awesome. Good job, show writers. Oh, Madeline Stillwell isn't alive. I guess Homelander just rented this cabin in the woods and has been forcing Doppelganger to play as Madeline Stillwell until he gets bored of Doppelganger. Honestly, I really like the part where they showed Homelander shopping for cabins in the woods, and he told the realtor that he's like, I really prioritize privacy. And so they really selectively presented him a bunch of cabins, and they talked about, access to water and things like that, because some of the cabins are so far out in the woods that they may not have consistent access to drinking water. I really like that they went the extra mile to build in the deep lore of Homelander setting this whole scenario up. I found that to be really enriching for the plot. Just kidding. It's just a bunch of shock shit that they didn't ever explain how this even set up, where this relationship came from, and, well, just wait. Frenchie gets turned down by Kimiko and tries to fuck the other girl, who I frankly cannot remember the name of. But don't worry, she's going to be really important in season 3. For a love triangle plot, that is. It's ironic that Starlight is recounting a story about how her dad would take her out for donuts and really listen to her, because MM is literally not looking at her or seemingly not paying any attention to her whatsoever. You would almost think that she's making a slight jab at him for not paying attention to what she's saying, but the scene just continues on regardless. Oh no, there's an accident and Starlight wants to go help, but she's in her incognito disguised as Annie, her true self, and that would, I guess, reveal where she is. So they have to run away and she has to not help people. Even though MM and Huey could just literally walk down the road and then they could pick up Annie later, rather than using logic or words to solve the problem, well, there's a ton of people around, so I guess we should just leave. I don't know. There's not like a ticking clock here, so I don't understand what's with the urgency to be dumb, but the show really is in a hurry to be as dumb as possible often. In this scene, Starlight diagnoses MM with OCD after meeting him for, well, I guess a few hours. Frankly, I'm offended as a human being at how this show handles mental illness. But it doesn't really become an issue until season 3, but just you wait. Okay, just to be clear, the things that Annie lists as being symptoms of OCD are not like really symptoms of OCD. The fact that he like does things in threes is kind of getting there, but it's more of like a pop psychological OCD rather than actual OCD. One of the big things about OCD in terms of like it being a cognitive problem and not a personality problem, because there is a differentiation there, is that when it's a cognitive problem, the compulsions to engage in repetitive behaviors to soothe one's own stress usually don't actually have any rational basis in soothing the stress. So for example, if MM is stressed about making the lane change or whatever, tapping the steering wheel, letting you know where your hands are or whatever, the tactile feedback you get from touching the steering wheel could be a way to soothe that stress that rationally makes sense. There's nothing wrong about that. Or stirring your coffee 3 times. Stirring your coffee is just something you naturally want to do. Or carrying antiseptic wipes just makes sense given the line of work that they're in, because they're often getting covered in fucking blood. If there is a reasonable explanation for a behavior that also could be a symptom of a mental illness, you default to the more reasonable one. And the reason is because you don't want to be overdiagnosing people with problems that they frankly don't need help with. A problem only exists when it creates a severe and significant issue in functioning. MM is doing wonderful. At the beginning of this season, he was living in a fucking drug den, making a fucking mini dollhouse, and he didn't have any mental illness problems, even though he was away from his support network. He was incredibly stressed. He didn't exhibit any symptoms of mental illness. But now, within 5 minutes of meeting Annie, the white girl, she's diagnosing him. This show really captures what it's like to be a white female on Twitter. If you needed further evidence of who Kimiko blames for her brother's death, here is Kimiko attending a rally put on by Stormfront, presumably just to look at her mad, I guess. It seems to be a pretty big risk for nothing to gain, but whatever. Kimiko, you're getting kind of close there. Stormfront might recognize you and just kill you instantly because you're yellow. That's the character's words, not mine. I'm not... Ooh, got to edit that out. In this scene, Annie comes to realize that Stormfront is actually a gorillion years old. And I'm mad. Why am I mad? I'm mad because the first thing that Annie should say is, that fucking bitch lied to me. She wasn't going to fucking Halloween events with Disney slut princesses. She's not nearly old enough for that. Or, she's nearly too old for that. Holy shit, Homelander raped Becca? That's fucking wild. I can't believe that Homelander hasn't fucking raped anyone else in the fucking 8 or so years it's been since he raped Becca. I'm kind of curious. Why did he only rape Becca? I want that answered. Will the show answer it? God, no. Oh, well, I guess that plot's done. Homelander killed Doppelganger appearing as Homelander, and that was it. It was a totally secluded storyline that nobody else was involved in and nobody else even knows about. I would really like to see the Vought workers clean up this mess, and I would like to see Homelander tell the Vought workers about this mess. I think that would be an incredible plot to go down. But no, the show just moves past it like it does all the actually interesting plots, unfortunately. Well, that was episode 4. I think we're going to cut it here. I'm going to edit this down a bit, and then I'll hit you back with the rest of the season. I hope you like my reactions. I'm Borley Borlstein. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Catch you in the flip side.